everyone, and welcome back to the Sweet Tea series. My name is Ariana Guajardo. I am at the Texas Policy Summit, but not only that, today is also the launch of United Gen USA. Here to speak about it is Tyler Bertola. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, so tell me about United Gen USA. What's going on? What is it? And congratulations on the launch.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, there's so much to United Gen USA, but at the core of who we are, our desire and our goal is to educate conservatives on policy. There's so much noise and political theater out there that a lot of times I feel like for me as a busy mom of 3 and a business owner, it's hard to navigate before and navigate and educate myself before getting to the voter booth. So United Gen USA aims to educate Americans on conservative civic policy before getting to the voter booth.
That's amazing. And you also do it in a very unique way.
Right.
And I like what you're talking about, the point of getting to the booth. But one of the things that, speaking to your co-founder, Bogdan, what is his last name? I just call him Bogdan.
You know, that's a real...
Is this like a secret thing?
I legitimately do not know how to prounce his last name. Don't tell him
Something
that.
Romanian. But if you don't know him, he's on Instagram as Immigrateful.
Yep, Immigrateful. He's amazing.
Wonderful. But one of the things that he's talked about living in Dallas is he'll go to committee hearings, like city stuff, and there'll be a ton of left-wing people there to like testify and support that, and no one from the right. And he says, I know a lot of people make the excuse of, conservatives have jobs, but that doesn't give you an excuse in a huge city like Dallas to not have 5 people show up to represent something.
Absolutely.
So all that to say, I love the reason that you have your mission to help educate people and get them more civically engaged. So an incredible thing. Tell me about how the launch is going.
The launch is going so well. We've got 13 influencers here. It's a really unique mix because while we are launching our nonprofit organization, we're also getting to partner with an amazing partner like Texas Public Policy Foundation. And so we're going a step beyond kind of your surface level conversation about politics. We're actually, what ticks? What makes America tick at its heartbeat, at its root? And so we brought in 13 influencers to give keynote speeches on conservative topics outside of just your everyday tradition or even potentially religion, and going, what moves our policy and what does it look like to be a conservative in 2026? Texas Public Policy Foundation does the most amazing work. And so we're really excited to bring in people that can share that with their audience that might not know what TPPF does. And then also, a lot of people just don't even, a lot of people don't know what a policy is. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think people know what politics is, but I don't think they know what policy is or how it works and how it's made.
Yep.
So, I'm so glad you guys are doing that part of the education. So, I forgot to even mention this one part. You guys have a unique way about going about things. So usually when people talk about policy and education, you say you're thinking about a think tank, right? Like you're founding a new think tank.
Yep.
That is different than what y'all are. So will you explain about how you go about the mission and the people you've engaged with?
Absolutely. So with this launch, we're immediately reaching 8 million eyeballs because of the use of the influencers. So whereas a mommy blogger knows exactly what their mother, her followers needs to hear, we trust that she can relay the policy message to her followers in a unique way that will reach her audience, and not just reach her audience, but actually resonate with her audience, because that's a big thing. It's not just about, they heard about this policy, but it's really, did they understand? And so that's what we're here to do. We're here to communicate in clear and concise ways the meanings behind the policies and boiling it down. Does it pass this Chardonnay test? If we can't talk about it over a glass of sweet tea and understand it, then we probably don't know what we're talking about.
Is that the Chardonnay test for you? Is a glass of Chardonnay?
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. Because
my go-to wine, by the way.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love a good Chardonnay. I
Me
will
too.
say rosé. In the
you're a
summer.
rosé
I'm
girl?
a rosé girl.
Maybe it depends on the season.
Yeah.
But
totally.
what y'all are doing is partnering with influencers to bring this message. And I think that's such a unique way, because a lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of influencers, like you're talking about a mommy blogger, she might not have access to or know about organizations like TPPF that are going to be speaking about the kitchen table issues that she would want to know about and her followers would want to know about. And you're really fitting that middle ground, connecting people together and then getting conservative messages out.
Well, who cares more about school choice than moms, right? And that's a perfect example of how utilizing the reach of mommy bloggers per se. I know we keep going to that, but I am drawn to that example because I'm a mom of 3. I have 3 beautiful daughters at home.
Which I did not know that. Yeah. I'm like, there's no way it could be of 3. Way too young.
Nope. Yep. I have a gorgeous 8-year-old, 3-year-old, and almost 2-year-old.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how did you find yourself here in this position, starting this organization? What's your background?
Yeah. So my background is wife full-time. I have been a literary agent for the last 6 years. Been in and out of jobs that kind of design or creative jobs. I grew up in the mission field with my family overseas and moved to the U.S. and back to Nashville, which is where I'm from, when I was 11 or 12. It's all starting to blur together. But really this came about when I was 22. I was living in New York and I found out that I was pregnant. And that moment, I built this organization because I was the bleeding heart, blue-haired liberal. And when that moment hit, I was faced with the reality of my beliefs and realized that I had been misled. And in the moment, I was offered an abortion instead of a congratulations by the movement that was set to empower me. And it was a wake-up call. Now, fast forward, now 8 years. My daughter is now 8 years old. I'm married to her father. Wow. That began a journey for me to come home to conservatism in a way that blew my mind. And there's so much more to that story, but it started my actual development and going, okay, what do these movements do? Mm-hmm. And the movement that I was a part of, the feminist progressive movement that I was a part of, abandoned me in my time of need because I was offered not life, but quite frankly, an excuse for not life. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And so that's what started. That was 8 years ago. I started rethinking things. I started viewing things differently. I started reading into, having a kid it really puts things into check and, all of that. And then in 2023, my father passed away from fentanyl poisoning.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Again, policy came home to roost. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? This wasn't a far off, non-personal thing about border. In 2023, if you think back to what was going on nationally, coming to the border, that we had fentanyl deaths was on the rise. We had open border policy. And I was hit with, again, the fact of, wow, liberal policy does not bring life. Mm-hmm. And that is when it really hit the fan for me. And it was like, okay, I have to start educating. So I started educating just like around my table. I started trying to get more informed. I started trying to talk about things more, not just like the political typical talking points, but really diving into the meanings of these movements. Mm-hmm. And I was like, more people need to know about conservative policy because that's, to me, the key to a healthy life in America. We're life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what we are promised. And I think the conservative movement offers that, and more than any other movement.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I got chills when you were talking about the time in New York, but was it a weird moment realizing that these people who are your friends, and I know that it's the quote unquote pro-choice, but it seems like there's only one option under choice.
There was no choice, right? You're exactly right. There was no choice. The choice was, okay, you are working 60 hours a week, you're partying on the weekends, you go to work, and they're like, I told them I found out I'm pregnant. Mm-hmm. And they said, okay, so how many days do you need off to take care of it? Just to take care of it.
The assumption is that's such a weird work culture environment. Not how can we support you in your pregnancy as an employee?
It was like, what do you need to do to take care of it?
And of course, take care of it, meaning, aka go get an abortion.
Correct.
Oh my gosh.
Correct.
That's horrible.
Correct. And I had just started going to church. I had just started going to, we met in, it was like 72nd and Central Park West, up on the Upper West Side of New York. And we met in this basement of the YMCA. And I had just started going to church. And it was either the day after or the same day. I went in and they could just tell I was distressed. My husband now, we didn't have a relationship at the time. We had just met. It was very New York at the time. Very New York. And so I told them, I'm pregnant. And their immediate response was, congratulations, you're going to be an amazing mother.
Oh, that's so nice.
In that moment, I was like, look at the fruit. Exactly what I think Greg was saying today. Look at the fruit of the trees that are being produced, and you will tell what is good and what is not. And here we had one movement that said they promised life, but they only offered death. And here's this other movement that I expected to be condemned, and I actually was offered true freedom and redemption. So that's a very short version of why we're here today.
Though. And since you've been on the right, you were saying that you feel more, I guess, that people welcomed you with open arms. And
Oh, well, my argument is that I believe the conservative movement is the most diverse and welcoming movement in America, hands down, because it's not about if you don't believe what we believe, then you're out. It's very much like, okay, well, let's talk. Let's talk about it. So not only do I feel more welcome on the right or in the conservative movement, but I also feel more empowered because I do think that it is so I don't know what other word to use other than empowered.
Well, I know a few weeks ago, I think you said that you had a chance to be at CPAC.
Yeah.
And that's where Isabel Brown had her, where she was promoting the beauty of marriage and family.
Yep.
And of course, the women on The View shot that down right away. But you're a wife and a mother of 3, and you're also starting a business. All your kids are younger. But you said that you'd feel more empowered than ever.
Yes.
How does that work as a mom? And has that encouraged you? Does it take away from it? How does this all fit together?
Well, it's so fun because I bring my babies wherever I go. Even this morning, I don't know. I think you were upstairs a little bit this morning. You probably, I didn't
get to run into them yet.
Well,
hopefully I will.
They'll be around.
But you know what? A few weeks ago, we were on a call together, and in the background, we were FaceTiming, and your daughter runs over to give you a hug, which was so sweet.
So it's, I'm raising 3 daughters with the intent of you can do whatever you put your mind to, and because they see a supportive family. My husband supports everything that I am a part of, and I get to be expressive and creative with what I am doing because my husband is our foundation and our rock, and he provides for us. And so there's no issue with me being a CEO because I know that I'm taking care of my kids. My husband is taking care of all of us, and they're going to see a strong woman and grow up to be the same.
Yeah. Well, even on the marriage part of it, so we haven't had any kids yet. Pray for us. We're hoping to have a family.
Love it.
But it was so I had a lot of anxiety in my life, throughout college and afterwards. But whenever I got married, suddenly there's a partner with you, and okay, if I can't get to it, that's fine. There's another person who can. Having just that is amazing. But I think we're at a point in the conservative movement specifically where organizations like TPPF and others are asking themselves, how do we support women who are younger, who want to start families, and how do we integrate these two so it doesn't have to be a choice? And I know there's so many people on the trad side of we need to go back to the 50s. But here's the thing, that's not even the traditional point. The 50s are not that long ago.
No.
But if you go back further to the economy of what is it called? The home economic project, right?
Yep.
And in the economy of the home, where husbands and wives are able to work together, the kids are a part of that. I think that's what tradition actually looks like, is integrating the family instead of separating it. Tradition doesn't look like man going off in one area, woman staying. That's separation right there. So I just think you're such a beautiful testimony on what perhaps even modern womanhood looks like in the conservative era.
Well, thank you. I really hope to look. I get feedback. I hear from people, and I get feedback even when I don't want it. Not always good feedback, but I do get feedback nonetheless. And sometimes it gets really nasty. And I think that you're right. I think that conservatism gives opportunity to the family. It's not just about the man working or just the woman taking care of the house, but it actually brings the family nucleus, like it lifts it up. And it's actually about bringing the family together, not keeping them separated. And you're right. Is it modern? I don't know if it's modern. Maybe it is more traditional.
I only say modern in that it's like it's new-ish, but not really. It's how do we do this?
It's coming back
today,
around.
Right?
You know?
We're doing it on you're working with people who work on social media. That's new, but then the family, that's something that's as old as time.
Exactly.
That's the first society is the family.
And that's how I think back in the day, it used to be if your dad was a doctor, you're a doctor, your son's going to be a doctor. Well, that's not just because they immediately went into it, but it's because they saw those trades were taught. And with my daughters, what I'm doing is I'm teaching them to create. I'm teaching them to be entrepreneurs and think outside of the box. My husband is the same. We both work from home. So it really is like, in our home, we're constantly challenging each other and being creative with each other. And it's a true blessing. But I mean, it all comes back to like, I'm able to do this because my husband is so supportive and takes care of us, and we get to build something together.
That's so amazing, especially that you guys have that kind of opportunity. Yeah. And I'm really excited to see what that looks like, both people in the conservative movement, and then hopefully we'll see, I guess, more support even in the corporate sphere. That's the one where we're going to have to see how that breaks through in the future.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you're excited for with United Gen coming up?
Oh my goodness, so much. I don't know how much I'm even allowed to say. There's so many great things coming out. We're super excited to be launching this series of keynote talks that will be launching all social media.
By the time this episode comes out, that should be out by then. So where can people we'll find United Gen as well as all the other influencers you work with?
Absolutely. So you can go to United Gen USA on all social media, Facebook, X, Instagram is a big one. And we will be releasing all of our, our series on YouTube as well. So you'll be able to see the long form media as well.
Well, I am so excited to watch that. I'm going to be sneaking up. You guys are sharing a little bit of some of the space with us, and I'm so excited to go visit you all during your keynote today. So thank you so much for joining me. We're going to have another sit down with a longer episode at some point. And next time I will actually bring sweet tea. Can you guys believe that I forgot? But
hey, we're staying hydrated.
We are.
This is good.
To hydration.
Yes.
Good luck with the rest of your day. I'm so excited for the rest of Policy Summit. If you all want to check that out, you can find it at the Texas Policy YouTube channel. And I will see you all next time.